Let's get to some NBA Finals discussion and talk about this matchup between the Celtics and the Mavs. So every preview that I look at, I mean, it's pretty lopsided in terms of the analysis that the Celtics are just a all around much better team. Any belief in the Mavs is in Luka and Kyrie, essentially proving to be an unstoppable duo, and the Celtics maybe not having an answer for it. I mean, that, like I said, it's kind of wishful thinking, because the truth is they'll be able to take away, or they should be able to take away one, Luka or Kyrie. And a lot of people are saying that I don't know if they're going to be able to stop Luka, because nobody can stop Luka. And it seems like more the focus that I'm at least seeing is that maybe the Celtics are going to focus on stopping Kyrie, because they've had more success stopping Kyrie. They know Kyrie familiarity-wise a little bit more. And in terms of right now, they have two guys, whether it be Drew Holiday or Derek White, that have had success and are elite defenders on the perimeter. And that maybe the focus won't be on stopping Luka, because as we talk about, even sometimes we're going against superstar players, sometimes that's a fool's errand to try to stop one of the best players on the planet. And Kyrie's also, a great player, but they have a better chance at thwarting, neutralizing him rather than Luka. And all they got to do is try to throw one of them off. And if they throw one of them off, then the Celtics, they already have a great chance of winning. But I think their chances of winning the series skyrocket if one of those two has a bad series, or off series, not even bad, off series.
Yeah, and I mean,
inefficient series.
And that again is, when you try and blitz and double and, overcompensate for Luka, it does open up other players. And it allows PJ Washington to have a 20-point game. It allows Derek Jones to be able to get up 15 points in a game. It allows Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford to have extreme impacts in the game, and not to mention Kyrie Irving. And so it is. If you just say, whoever it is, look, you're going to get on SportsCenter and everywhere else, they're going to clown you because Luka's going to clown you for 4 games or 5 games or 6 games, however long it is. He's going to clown you. And so there's going to be highlights of you looking like an idiot, because everyone who guards him looks like an idiot. So you're just going to have to deal with that, but we're going to spend time to make sure everybody else is covered fully, and he can't beat us by himself. He needs a team around him. So if we can slow down Kyrie Irving, if we can, if we cut that part of the head off, then now all the other pieces start to fade away a little bit more. And Kyrie, once he loses confidence, starts passing too much. And now when we get him to overpass, that's where we can start turning it into turnovers, and we can get the ball. We talked about it yesterday. A big plan, the thing that teams like to do with the Mavs is get passes to stars or to other players, get past the stars to pass the ball before the other guys are really ready to score. So they have to make another decision. They have to make a pass. You put the ball in Gafford or Lively's hands, and they have to pass the ball back out. And that's an easy way to get turnovers. That's an easy way to get a stop, because the offense kind of grinds to a halt at those times. So, I think they're going to try that. Now, I think they'll try a bunch of different looks. I think you'll see that they will try and go after Luka at points as well because you want to get that big run. The Celtics love to get a nice big lead because they know they're going to take time off during the game. They know they're going to have moments where they maybe underperform and get distracted. And so I think that they will try to, at points, if they slow everybody else down, then go after Luka. But it wouldn't surprise me if very early on, they try to put the ball in Kyrie's hands and then stop him. So maybe, a quick run at Luka, maybe full court press on Luka, get the ball into Kyrie's hands, and then back off of Luka and see if you can get in his head early in the series and try and mentally take him out of it a little bit more.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think that's at least it does make sense. Now, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
Exactly.
But it does make sense. Now, if Kyrie just comes out and Kyrie just has a all-time great series, there's really nothing you can do, because I agree. I think Luka's going to get his. And that's going to be the key for that. The Mavs are looking for things to tilt the series to at least become more balanced or in their favor, because the Celtics seem to have overwhelming advantages in a lot of ways in this series, and they've had that all season long, in the regular season and in the Eastern bracket of the playoffs. So what are the things that could potentially tilt it? 3-point shooting. right? 3-point shooting. The Celtics attempted and made more threes than anybody else in the NBA, and that trend has continued in the postseason. The perimeter defense of the Mavs. How do they defend the 3-point shot? What is their what is their process? What is their game plan to try to limit the 3-point shooting? They definitely have one, because that is part of the offensive identity of this Boston Celtics team. In the basically from February to basically deadline and to the end of the regular season, I believe the Mavs opponent shot around 36% from 3-point range, and they've been really good in 3-point defense in the playoffs. That's going to be one of the keys so far. I mean, you look at it, the Celtics have been great from 3-point range. They've had a couple of games where they've been off, and if they're off, the whole offense is inefficient.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that's if you're the Mavs, you have to play odds at points and kind of figure out who you want to get the ball. Overcompensate a little bit on some other guys, overcompensate on Tatum, overcompensate on Brown a little bit more, and make Derek White and Jrue Holiday beat you. Make Al Horford, if he's going to be shooting threes, Porzingis coming back off of injury, make him make threes. You want to try and make the rest of the guys make those. Now you're going to try and, defend everybody, but whoever Luka's on, that's where the ball is probably going to end up going, because Luka will play off more help. Luka is one who gets distracted more on defense and he goes for steals. He doesn't necessarily play solid, which what you really, really need from everybody in a series like this with 3-point shooters is everyone to constantly be aware where the ball is, where your passing lanes are. Jason Kidd's done well. The Mavs have historically done pretty well playing passing lanes. So you have to be able to play those two, try and get turnovers, try and get them to speed up a little bit at points where you're allowing them to throw the ball around a little bit, but you want them to keep making passes, because the more passes they make, the better odds of a turnover. Even if it does lead to wide open shots, you still have to play those odds in a series like this, because you're going up against a team that has 6-7 guys who can hit threes on you. And you just have to consistently try and, guard as much of it as you can with the spread out court, and then still stay at home for when Tatum and Brown start driving to the bucket, and when, and Derek White will do it some too, but when they start going to the bucket, that you have a Gafford and you have a Lively that can kind of stay inside on you sometimes too and get blocks and stop the rim. It's just a tough assignment. It's why the predictions are pretty lopsided to the Celtics, is because even though the Mavs have been playing good defense, they've played against teams that have offenses that are somewhat flawed and offenses that do not have, where you say, even Minnesota, Rudy Gobert can score a few points, but you're not really worried about Rudy Gobert scoring.
Yeah, you got one offensive liability out there. He's not.
Really and so Mike Conley's a good player, but Mike Conley's also not going to put up, he doesn't, at this point in his career, he's not putting up 20 in most games. So you're not too worried about him. So you're more worried about a couple guys. Whereas on the Celtics, if Jrue Holiday hits his shots and if Derek White hits his shots, what are you going to do? Because now you have to guard everybody. And if you have to guard everybody, it means you're putting Derek Jones and PJ Washington on one-on-ones against really good players. And, that's how those guys both get 30. The rest of the team hits a few threes and they put up 115, 120. And I don't know if the Mavs can put up 120 against the Celtics over and over again. So you need to keep the score around 100 if you're the Mavs. You want to keep it as close to 100 as you can, because, that's where you're going to be playing to try and get, you're against this offense or this defense of the Celtics. You're probably only going to be able to put up 110 is probably around your max. Maybe they'll have a really good game, but I think 110 would probably be, if you were going pretty fast and Luka has a really good game and you get another star out there, you could probably get to 110. But the Celtics, we've seen this postseason, had been able to put up 120 pretty easily.
Yeah, it's because that 3-point shooter's been on. They've attempted 40 or more threes in half of their postseason games.
Yeah, they've shot themselves out of games too. You can get them if they're not hitting, if the long layover hurts them a bit, if Porzingis comes back in and starts jacking them up, but he's a month off, he starts missing some. That's your best case scenario, but you can't count on that in an NBA Finals.
Nope. Totally agree with you. On the flip side of that, for the Mavs, I think another thing that could tip the kind of tip the scales, at least to be balanced. I don't know about in their favor. They'll be in their favor. They're going to stay an underdog in this series no matter what, unless they like win the first 2 games. But one of the things that has been common, if you will, in the Boston losses, the 20 losses have come in games where they allowed an offensive rebounding rate of 30% or higher. That could be one of the random factors that could tilt the scales back in Dallas's favor. The Mavs have recovered nearly 30% of their offensive rebounding opportunities in the playoffs. That's got to be. Is that possible? Because it's still the Celtics still got guys obviously that can bang the boards. But with the size the Mavs have brought on, could that be something against this Celtics team that could also tip the scales or tilt the scales? I should say
100%. But that's a trade-off. The more you go for offensive rebounds, the more transition points go the other way. So going for offensive rebound, they're basically offensive rebounds kill streaks. And they kill, teams being able to go on big runs. Because if you offensive rebound, it slows the game back down. It makes the other team have to play defense again. It makes them have to, they think they're about to get a fast break, and then all of a sudden you get the ball back and you take it back out top, or you get 4 shots and you hit the 4th one. Those just kill runs for other teams. However, on the flip of that, it can start a run real quick. If you have 3 guys crash the board and 1 guy going back and they just send their guys, then it's a slam dunk.
Outnumbered.